What's up guys, Dakota Perez here, and this week I'm coming to you with a new Techwear video. I've been thinking about this a lot recently, and I just wanted to make a video on the top 5 most underrated Techwear brands at the moment. Now, there are tons of brands that didn't make this list that are also underrated, but I chose these ones for specific reasons in terms of quality, price, and design. So I'll get into that when I lay out the list, and the list isn't necessarily in any type of order. It's just these 5 brands and why I like them so much. What I mean by underrated is basically I don't see as much discussion or fits in the community than I would expect, considering the quality and aesthetic and features that these clothes have. Now, with that being said, I know some of you are going to be thinking with some of these brands, hey man, like we totally love that brand. We know, like I have some of that stuff. I know people do have these brands, they're known and cool. It's just, you know, the main narrative for the most part online is a lot of acronym and Nike Lab, ACG, and maybe Stone Island Shadow Project and those sorts of brands. You know, I wanted to stay away from the most popular ones and just showcase ones that are really, really awesome and comparable to those brands, but not nearly as popular as I believe they should be. I will also be leaving links to all the stores and places to purchase the clothes that I'm mentioning in this video. So without further ado and stupid explanation, let's get into the brands. First up, I wanted to name Rosen X as one of the more underrated brands in the community. Now, if you have seen one of my first videos ever, it was a Rosen X Naragi review, and I really liked the Naragi, and there was some kind of issues that happened with it in terms of a strap breaking, but soon after I released the video, I got an email directly from Gracia, which is the designer who makes all of the clothes. She got in contact with me and reached out and said, hey, is there anything I can do to help out? Can you give me feedback? I always want to improve my products. And she actually ended up giving me a 15% refund for my troubles and because there was that defect. Now, I wasn't, asked to ever review her product in the first place. I wasn't ever asked to have her brand in this video. It's just, I really liked that she reached out in order to help and improve my experience with the clothing. And other reasons why I really like the brand is the fact that it is customizable. You can give her custom measurements and the clothes can be made to better suit your body, which is really awesome because base level, most clothes don't fit everyone the same, and a lot of times I find with most of my friends they could possibly tailor their clothes and it would fit better. So I think that that's a really, really awesome feature, and at the price point that she is providing her really cool, unique silhouettes, I think that it's just highly underrated in the community. And she also sells the garments in the same silhouettes with different fabrics, not necessarily technical ones, but different linens and rare fabrics. So you can also customize what exact fabric you want depending on the environment that you need it in. And she has winterized versions of the clothes and summer versions, and it's just, it's overall a really great brand that I think more people should be ordering from, and it's super dope. I will be having more reviews with different clothes that I order from them in the future, so look out for those. Next on my list, I wanted to bring up this Swiss outdoors brand. Now, forgive me for the mispronunciation if I happen to mispronounce some of these brands because they are European. The Swiss brand is called Klattermusen, whatever. It's got accents and it's Swiss. I don't know how to pronounce it, but they're a Swiss outdoors brand. They make really, really high quality outdoors gear, and it is in premium fabrics that you often have to pay way more for. For example, they have some Ventile and ETA-proof clothing that you can get for a very reasonable price, in my opinion, and these clothes are of the utmost quality because I think their story is they started back in the 70s or 80s as sort of a community DIY workshop project type of thing of climbers and like mountain trekking people. And since then, they've been able to grow into a much larger company. But I think with that kind of origin story, they're really putting their clothes through the test. They're doing the field experiments and they're seeing what holds up and what doesn't. So in the 21st century, their clothes have very modern silhouettes, very good looking clothes and amazing premium fabrics. I would highly recommend checking them out. They're similar in price to Arc'teryx. I kind of see this brand and the next one I'm going to mention as like a European Arc'teryx, you know, a very modern outdoors clothing brand that has moved past, you know, just generic hiker core and has kind of infused more modern elements into their clothes at a very reasonable price for the quality of craftsmanship that you are getting from this brand. So next up on my list of underrated techwear brands is Tilak. Now, like I said, I don't know if I pronounced that right. It's a Czech company, Tilak, spelled Tilak, and they also have a special diffusion line, or not diffusion line, but a side branch line called Putnik. And like I said, it's a Czech word, I don't know. But their main line and Putnik, I really like both of them. Putnik is sort of similar to like maybe a Shadow Project type of line. It's more urban orientated, not necessarily outdoors wear, but both of them really fit into the techwear aesthetic. And the price point for this brand is also very reasonable for the fabrics that they use. They use Ventile a lot, Gore-Tex, their own proprietary different types of things. It's just, they have a wide range of outdoors quality clothing that fits more of a urban and techwear aesthetic. And their Putnik line actually has some of the designers, including Errolson Hugh, that worked on the silhouettes of that line. They have the famous night pants, which has very similar panels to the design to the acronym P10s. I have a pair of those pants. The quality of this brand is just superb, and the price point is way lower than Arc'teryx, Valence, or Acronym, but in terms of quality, it's pretty much the same, and in terms of look, it's very, very awesome. And like I said earlier, you know, these brands are known and people do have these things, and people are in the know of it because, you know, especially since Errolson's involvement with this brand, but I don't see that many people who actually have the pieces. I've seen a few on Super Future and maybe one or two on Techwear, but that brand is super, super dope, and I would highly recommend it to anybody. So moving on to the fourth brand that I think is underrated within the community, and we're now moving into territory of cheaper brands. As a whole, these brands aren't necessarily on the budget techwear side. So if you guys want to see some budget techwear brand videos or some more reviews on budget brands, let me know in the comments down below. But you know, we're crossing more into the cheaper territory now with these brands. And the first one is 511 Tactical. It is a military and uniform kind of clothing company. Think of Arc'teryx Leaf, and it's just more of militarized looks. They've got a lot of combat uniforms. They've got stuff for firefighters. They've got stuff for police officers, things like that. But the fabric that they use and the quality that the clothes end up being for the price point is insane. The previous brands that I mentioned, especially the European ones, they kind of more focus on just outerwear. 511 Tactical has every single layer down to a T, and they have really, really great quality clothing, and some of the silhouettes can really fit into techwear aesthetic. It doesn't have to be necessarily super army looking. And, you know, with this brand, you might want to do more tailoring in order to get the aesthetic that you want and silhouette that you're looking for. But in terms of price point and quality, 511 is honestly unbeatable. I think that for the types of clothing items that they have, they release it at a very surplus price. And they have really great shell jackets and different jackets in general. Their pants are some of my favorite ones. They have some crazy pants, and they have tons of them that are coated in Teflon or different DWRs, or, you know, woven with Tencel and things like that to make the quality and abrasion resistance much higher. They just have a lot of cool technical aspects because they are designing for, you know, tactical situations where maybe a SWAT team's, you know, busting into a drug dealer's house or whatever the hell SWAT does. In terms of American brands and accessibility, it is very, very accessible to Americans. There's actually a 511 Tactical store here in Arizona that I have been to before. It's super dope. Their online shop also ships to everywhere, so I highly recommend checking them out. And if you're willing to do some tailoring on some of their products, you can make it look even more techwear, and they're just super dope. Now, moving on to the final one. And this one I might think of as one of the most underrated out of all of these. I'd say this one and Rosen are the most underrated brands because the other ones are loved amongst the gearheads, the super technical people, the people that are really deep into techwear and into the different techwear companies, and people especially who are into outdoorsy activities. They know about the previous ones, but this one that I'm gonna mention, you know, it gets love mostly in the gray man aesthetic. That's the only place where I've really seen too many references to it. Lululemon is the final brand that I wanted to talk about. So Lululemon, when you think about them, you think of yoga pants for women or yoga pants for men, and it's some kind of just, you know, hippy dippy yoga yuppie kind of brand, something like that. But in terms of price and quality and technicality that goes into all of their products, since they are a sportswear brand, they have a lot of great technical properties that are put into their fabrics and clothings. And also a lot of their silhouettes and pieces are super, super nice, super modern. You can wear a lot of Lululemon's products in a formal setting. They have a lot of really nice button-down shirts. They have sweat wicking properties to them, stretch to them, articulation, DWR, things like that. Lululemon to me is sort of like a washed-down, cheaper version of Arc'teryx or Arc'teryx Valence. They have really nice looking formal clothes, and then they also have some more activity-based clothes that can also fit into the techwear aesthetic. And they have things geared towards people who are into cycling and, you know, rock climbing and yoga and things like that. And because of that, the clothes have really, really nice ergonomic designs and super technical properties behind the fabric. And you're able to find these pieces online for pretty cheap. And a lot of times their mainline stuff goes for sale for 50% off. Now, the beautiful, most amazing part of Lululemon is actually this store that they have in New York City, and you can't order it online, and you can only pretty much get it through people who live in New York City if you have a friend that can go pick it up for you or you take a trip. But if you're ever there, I highly, highly, highly recommend going to the Lululemon Lab. It's like Nike Lab, but for Lululemon. I believe they make everything in-house too, because I saw a bunch of sewing machines and pattern designs and things like that in the back of the store. So I think they're making everything in-house and selling it to, you know, New Yorkers. And that is like the ultimate techwear line that they have. Pretty much every piece that I've ever seen from Lululemon Lab fits into one techwear aesthetic or a lot of different types of techwear aesthetics, whether it's gray man or maybe even Tech Ninja. They got some pretty cool looking pants and jackets coming out of Lululemon Lab. So if you can ever get your hands on some Lululemon Lab, I highly recommend it. Lululemon and 511, they're more on the cheaper end, but not necessarily budget, but they're definitely on the cheaper end when it comes to techwear. And those other brands, they're very cheap for what they're providing, but some of their pieces can go up to $500, $600, $700 potentially. But you are able to get all of these brands that I mentioned at a fair price. The larger companies, not Rosen X, but all the other companies, a lot of times there's sales that you can get these things for very great prices. So I highly recommend you guys do some research and checking out these brands yourself. I hope that me making this video has brought some new awareness to brands you maybe have never heard of before. So let me know in the comments down below if there's any other underrated techwear brands you guys are really into. I'm always looking for new brands and more efficient and cheaper and better ways to keep up this technical wardrobe that I have, because you know, the way that I see some of the higher end stuff is it's great and I love the designs, but it's sort of more in the high fashion realm. It's not necessarily practical in terms of price and things like that. I'm always looking for a bargain. You guys know that from the types of videos I've made before. If you like this video, drop a like, and don't forget to click subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you get notified when I upload videos every single week. Don't forget about my giveaway coming up. At 1,000 subscribers, I'll be making a video specifically for it, explaining it, but put in the comments below as well things you would like for me to give away in the giveaway video. So that's coming up, and I'm excited about that. And also, I wanted to give a shout out to my homie, So Much Black. He has started making his videos again, so check out his videos. He has really interesting reviews, and I like his viewpoint a lot on things. He's very smart. He knows a lot about technical stuff with fabrics. He's a very smart guy. I would recommend going to him if you have questions in terms of fabric stuff. So until next time, stay Gucci.